Welcome to a new video. This will be just a not scripted one. I have a few talking points, but regardless, it's mostly me bantering because I do think it is important to talk about the recent events in the K-pop community, mostly what Blackpink did and what Kiss of Life did. So first and foremost, a big disclaimer. Everything that Blackpink did, everything that Kiss of Life did is incredibly wrong. I think genuinely racist and best case scenario, just idiotic, but regardless, very wrong word of the judgment that they're getting, and incredibly racist in the big year of 2025. That is not the nuanced quote-unquote thing I wish to discuss. What I wish to discuss in this one, or talk about from what I saw in my research, is the racism in general in the K-pop community. Yes, of course, we all know East Asia is colorist, usually racist, things like that. That's not new. We saw when Kai of EXO, for example, was a bit tanner than his members and whatnot. We know the way East Asia is, or at least the way we've been told it is. We see how pale the aespa members are. But I do want to remind you that other than the current scandals, K-pop idols never exactly steered clear from cultural appropriation, let alone the N-word or cosplaying as black. I mean, Lisa, who is for a great reason being called out, is being judged again, but let's not forget her raps in Blackpink and the misuse of AAV and the borderline black braids she wore in the Lalisa music video. Yes, some people blame that on the stylist, the lyricist. Still, there is a team of people who's going through these things. It's not new. And even if I admit, quote unquote, that perhaps the Blackpink raps or the Lisa's hair in the Lalisa music video, like those two examples, maybe it was the company, sure. But I recently reviewed and re-listened to her album, Alter Ego, which has heavy rap influence. Most of the songs are raps. And in most of her new songs, there are a lot of AV terms. She's collaborated with a lot of black artists, which doesn't obviously mean anything when we're looking at artist collaborations. It doesn't matter the gender or the race, but considering she collaborated so heavily with black artists, she collaborated with Childish Gambino, Megan Thee Stallion, and Doja Cat on her album, and yet is basically cosplaying black culture, cosplaying as a black person. If I say something that's insensitive, I'm really trying to not, but if I do, please do call me out in the comments. I truly do apologize. I do wish to address this, but I understand if I make an uncomfortable expression or something. I truly do not mean to. Everything I'm saying is trying to be supportive in most cases and to call out what is wrong. But my point was not Lisa here. It was that we also must forget everyone who did it, because I see a lot of people now, especially on X, especially on TikTok or whatever, using this as a fan wars moment, as all K-pop fans do. I see three types of people. I see the people who are using their brain, obviously, and rightfully calling out the people who did it, the people who were racist for no reason. And I see the other type of fan, which I mean is basically assumed by now. The people who defend it say they didn't know, they didn't do anything wrong, they couldn't possibly know. And I will use more of a personal example, but I'm not American. English is not my first language. I don't come from there. And I could maybe understand that argument if it was 2015. Probably not, because South Korea is a lot more advanced than my country. I come from a very small country. Internet and things like that weren't exactly... Not everyone had them. I mean, okay, in 2015, yes, but I don't know if it was, let's say 2015, and people were just starting out and you're isolated in your country, maybe, but not even then. But it is first 2025. Second, these people market to Western markets, they wish to market to America, they wish to do that, most of them are fans of rap, thus they should know. And third, they have teams of people who should generally think about that, have a thought process for their careers, if nothing else. So the comments of, oh, well, they didn't know, oh, well, it was misplaced or whatever, not out of a bad intention, Truly, in 2025, in the year that K-pop is, in the way that we all know everyone is chronically online, you did know. And even if you somehow possibly didn't know, someone on your team must have. Especially since, for the example of Blackpink girls, they were all fluent in English, like the English speakers. They knew that. Especially Rose. Also, he didn't mention CL, but obviously her as well. But for the Kiss Alive girlies, Julie already had to apologize for lip syncing the N-word. She should have known better. Why did she make that like her birthday party theme? Or why did she execute that theme like so? So to me, that excuse goes right into the trash bin like everything else. And the third type of K-pop fan I see criticizing this, which is borderline idiotic, is the one that is using them for fan wars. One that is using this in order to push fan wars further. And for that, I have to give you a little reminder list, because you should criticize these girls for what they did because it's wrong, because it's racist, because it is genuinely, if nothing else, a complete and utter lack of empathy and consideration for other people. Not because, oh, well, I'm an ARMY, so I'm gonna use any opportunity I have to trash Blackpink and like things like that. No, you should criticize them for good reasons, but just to remind you, this is not like an isolated experience. K-pop idols have always been like this. I remembered on the top of my head 9 examples. Mamamoo did blackface in 2017. G-Dragon did blackface. NCT members, I think it was Taeyong, Winwin, and Chenle, if that's not how you pronounce his name, I'm sorry, wore dreadlocks during one of their songs. I think during the Limitless era, I'm not sure. Namjoon of BTS said the N-word and also had dreads. Hwasa rapped the N-word as well. Gisela Vespa said the N-word. Baby Monsters Ahyun said the N-word. Lee Youngji said the N-word. And BTS's Taehyung said the N-word. And I am fairly certain most of them did apologize. But regardless, they still did it. For whatever reason, they still did it. And it is, I think, important that most of your or our favorites did that. Or even if they didn't, there's a high possibility they said something like so in private. So it is important also, like for K-pop fans in general, not to use this as a fan war opportunity, not to use this as, oh, see how much my faves are better than your faves, because truly half of the industry does it. Half of the industry that we know of. Who knows what your faves do behind closed doors? You don't know that. You could not possibly know that. And thus, I think using that serious topic, using racism, which is again like a very serious topic, using someone doing a genuinely awful thing to push fan wars further is immature, idiotic, and just, I have no words for it. That is the nuance I wish to talk about. And just to say, the K-pop industry has unfortunately always been like this, that scandals and racism, fatphobia, homophobia. South Korea is a very conservative country. It is not a dreamland. It is in no way, shape, or form a dreamland. Yes, I'm certain some idols are good people. Some idols are bad people. The music of whoever you listen to, you might find good. There is some music I find incredible. Even in that, regardless of all that statements, most of these people are problematic. Most of these people are both uneducated, finished a few years of high school. Also, from the list of example I listed, most of them also did something from mall companies. And I just simply, while yes, we do absolutely idolize them, I think in the end it boils down to the parasocial relationship we have with these idols. Because we all do, whether we want to admit it or not. And it is just not, they should not be defended or used in fan wars because it is a serious topic. And also, it is important to remember another big problem in South Korea, which is misogyny, which is why most of the male idols are the way they are, which is why I think this is also being used to distract from the Kim So-hyun, Kim Se-ran situation, but I will not get into that because I don't know the situation as much, except for the fact that he is obviously guilty. But do certainly check out a K-drama channel or somebody who has more and more information. Regardless, I do think we should not use this to distract from other important issues or to use it in fan wars, and also not to idolize these people so much, as hard as it is, because we only wound up disappointed. This was mostly like a reminders, nuanced video about how we should behave in the aftermath of this, mostly a rant video. It was script free, so I do apologize if it was boring, but I tried to keep it to just say my thoughts in the most concise way possible. And thank you so much for watching.